Happy New Year, guys. I just got back from vacation. I hope you can see a little bit of my tan that I worked up in Mexico. Took the family down there for a couple weeks. Had a lovely time. We go every year around this time. And but now we're back, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of farming stuff today, which I've had quite a bit of time away from. I've given Mark or he's off for New Year's Day. So I am going to, today I got to harvest a bunch of shoots because they need to be harvested. And today's video, I just kind of want to talk about why aggregators are so awesome. And I've mentioned them before, I read about them in my book. They're one of the types of marketing directions you can go on a farm. And so an aggregator is essentially a customer who will buy product from you and then distribute it in other ways. So for us, this particular one, they're called farm bound. All of this is for them. So all of these sunflower shoots here and this whole row of pea shoots is all for them. It's an incredible amount of crop. And they're really cool types of customers because you can plan ahead and they'll buy a bunch of product at once. So it means that I can move, I think this is going to be like a $700 order or something like that, in one direction, and it's all pre-sold. So we plan ahead and we know what we're going to sell before it's even harvested. And an aggregator is essentially a form of a distributor, and this one in particular, they buy from farmers and then they distribute it in a box program, just like a CSA, a community supported agriculture. They distributed it in boxes to homeowners, or you know, in a box, deliver it to somebody at their home, basically. So all their boxes are pre-planned. So it's great because this order was planned 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we basically planted to what they needed. And now I'm going to harvest it all, and it's all going to go to them. So it's a great way to move a lot of product, especially on a small farm like ours, where we're very niche focused, where we have a select amount of crops. You know, right now there's 2 feet of snow on the ground and it's -8 Celsius degrees outside. So there's not really a lot happening on the farm. Even the caterpillar tunnels and the other unheated tunnels, there's crops in them, but they're stagnant. You know, the spinach is just sitting there. We're not going to harvest it when it's this cold. We still have lots of carrots in the ground, which we've harvested, and we're sitting on a bunch in the cooler. So we still have product we can sell, but the most of the action on the farm this time of year is coming from what's in this greenhouse. And let me just give you a little bit of a tour of what we've got going on. So lots of sunflower shoots going on and pea shoots. Those are sort of the bread and butter of this time of year. We're doing some different types of microgreens. I'm kind of getting back into the mixes. Also, we've got this microgreens course that we should have coming out by March. And I'm back again doing trials and recording content for that course. So, you know, more news about that coming up, but we can expect that around March. You know, basically pea and sun shoots. I've got some other stuff here, some chervil and radish going, and I've got cabbage going. This here is cabbage. That's cabbage. I had some basil over there as well. And some of those things are for the rainbow mix I do, which is basically just a mix of a few different types of microgreens, mostly radish. This is called Triton radish, cabbage, and this pea called green pea, which is a slightly different pea shoot than this one. This is a speckled pea. That's the name of the seed. And this is a green pea. This one's more tendrily, and it's shorter, and I find it's better in a mix. I will link to the other video that I interviewed Jay Coward, who is the owner of Farmbound. Really awesome company. I'll link to that. Check them out if you haven't seen it. I did a video with her, I think it was the beginning of 2017, might have been around March or something, but I'll put that in the video here. And I've got a bunch of harvesting to do. Before I get that harvesting going, I'm actually just going to soak some seeds for the week. I got some sunflower seed and some pea seed there. I keep most of our bulk seed in these containers, at least the seed that we're using for a period of time. There's big 25 kilo bags of it there that we get from mums. But I'm just going to soak this up, and I'm actually going to sterilize my sunflower seed. And this is something that we're going to show you more in detail in the online course that we're going to do on microgreens, but I'll kind of show you what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to measure out my seeds. So I've got a big measuring cup here. This is a 5-liter measuring cup. I got a scale. I'm going to measure out, I got my Wunderlist app here. I'm going to measure out 3,900 grams of peas and 2,100 grams of sunflower. Now I'm not going to worry about sterilizing the pea because it never gets fungus, but I'm going to sterilize the sunflower seed, and I'll show you that. I got a bunch of different types of measuring cups, so I'm just going to measure out my 2,100 grams of sunflower. So big scoop of it here. I got the scale zeroed, so I just pour this in until I get 2,100 grams. This is the amount that we're doing for, I believe, 16 flats. Actually, don't quote me on that. I haven't been doing this for a while, so I'm just following the list. So we use this app called Wunderlist. I've talked about this many times before, and many of you might remember the video I did with a guy named Saba, who was working here for a little while with us, and he set us up with a really cool list in Wunderlist that auto updates. So it's basically what we do on a weekly basis. And so we've got these all reoccur. So once I tick this off today, it'll reoccur back at the same day next week. So the 2,100 is for 12 flats of pea and sunflower. I believe that's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So we're doing 12 and 12 of each week, and that's all I'm following. So it's kind of cool because it's like an SOP, a standard operating procedure. It's digitized. Everybody on the farm shares the app, and we just follow what's on. And so if somebody finished this, they tick it off, and then everybody knows that one particular task is done. So I got my 2,100 grams of sunflower here. Now what I'm going to do is dump them. I've got these little totes here, and I've got one tote that has holes in the bottom of it, a bunch of drilled holes, and then one that doesn't. And so this one is going to go in here, just like sort of a sieve when you're making pasta. So I got my seed in there. Now what I'm going to do is measure out some vinegar and peroxide. So this is my food grade hydrogen peroxide. People always ask about this stuff. It is it's 29%. So you have to get this, you can't just get this stuff anywhere. I get it from my local health food store. You can't buy it by the barrel, because then they'll think you're a terrorist. So you have to buy it in small amounts, which is kind of a hassle, but you don't use that much of it. And so what I do is I mix that with water and just white vinegar. So the ratio is 20 milliliters of peroxide, 20 milliliters of white vinegar per 1 liter of water. So I'm going to use 5 liters of water for this amount of seed for it to soak. And then what I'm going to do is pour that water in, let it soak for 10 minutes, then I'll drain it, rinse it, and then I'll soak it again for another 8 hours. I'll basically soak it until tomorrow morning, and then we'll come back in, drain it, rinse it, and then plant it. Basically I'm doing 100 milliliters of each. I use the imperial and metric system somewhat interchangeably. That's just kind of how it is in Canada for some of us, at least that's what I do. So I prefer the metric system for volume because it's very logical, but for things like inches and feet, I actually like that, but for volume measurements I use metric. It's just what we do. So you can figure it out, it's easy to Google. So I've got this, and I'm going to fill up 5 liters of water here, and then that's going to go in that, and then that's going to go in my seeds. So this goes in that 5 liters of water, and then this goes in here. So basically what I'll do is I'll use my phone. I use Siri on my iPhone, set a timer for 10 minutes. So there's my timer. When that stops, I will basically just drain this and add more water to it and let it sit for 8 hours-ish. You know, it's halfway through the day today. If it sits for 12 hours, even if it sits for 16 hours, it's fine. In the summer, I find I can get away with just soaking it after the sterilization for 6 hours and then plant. So sometimes I can do it all in one day if I want to. But things are a little slower in the winter. I'd rather just relax and sit around than worry about hustling this stuff so much, because there's just not that much to do. You know, this time of year we're working, like Mark's working maybe 20 hours. I barely work on the farm at all in the winter, so we're able to do the things that we need to do to kind of get through the season. We accept the fact that it's a little bit slower, and we take that time to maybe go snowshoeing or skiing. While I'm waiting for that timer, I might as well start my harvest. So all I'm doing now is just draining that out. Give it a rinse. It's just like straining pasta. Then I'll just put it back in the same bucket and fill it up again, and then now it'll just sit for it'll sit over the night basically. Big haul there, 54 pounds of pea shoots from 40 flats and 24 pounds of sunflower from 28 flats. So a little under yielding on the sunflower shoots, and really good yields on the pea shoots. Overall, great yield. So that is it for my day, you guys. I'm gonna go back inside and relax with my family. Going into this year, 2018, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to approach making videos. I think I'm going to slow it down. I'm kind of involved in some other enterprises now that are different and a new thing for me. We started the paper pot company. Diego Fuder and I started that in 2017. We've had an incredible year. We really only started in July, but we had a really good sales year. Planning to ramp it up into 2018, and so I'm going to be doing a lot more work with that, and going to be doing a lot more research and development with new tools, because we plan on stocking a bunch of new types of tools with Paper Pot Company. And so I think I'm going to slow down the YouTube content. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys, kind of put it out there to the audience, is there another video platform that you think I should be on? Some people have mentioned this thing called Steemit, which is somewhat based in the cryptocurrency space, which I think is amazing, a bit more open source. You know, people are doing a lot more Facebook videos. One thing I've noticed, and I can tell you as a YouTube creator, is that YouTube has radically changed this year. They are censoring content like nobody's business, and I don't like that. But as a private enterprise, I totally understand it's their right to do that. If they want to censor some type of political narrative, well, then that's their prerogative. But it does kind of annoy me, and I've actually had a handful of my videos demonetized with no justification. And it's not like my content is really that political. I might have had a few videos where I go on a libertarian rant a little bit, but besides from that, I don't really make political videos. And I'm kind of interested in other platforms to see what else is out there, because it seems like YouTube is changing, and I'm not so sure how I feel about it. But I'm curious, what do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Have a great holiday season, and we will see you soon. Take care.